Okay, so welcome to our next VGA tutorial. So a lot of time we talk about Java and how Java may interact with HTML program, or even the fact that oh you may hit something or show something in a program, because this small tutorial is about hidden stuff in Java, okay, and also showing stuff in Java. And we'll have the time to go to one of the programs that I use to have these functioning and really show you. Well, these functions actually worked alongside my HTML5 generator. Now today, the importance of Java in HTML depends on what type of function you're trying to have. Right? Okay, so, okay, for instance, you want to have email verification, small things like that. Java does that. You can now use JS. But let's not go further into that, the study, just to show you what I am doing. Because I believe you teach people things by you do it and they see it physically, but you explain to them so they get a better understanding. So I will start the function here. Well, why we have a init initialization of the function, right? I wrote a function here to deal with initialization. So initialize these things, right? And I can say what I want to have happen. So upon when the program is loaded in the body file, I have a statement, initialize statement in the body that actually talks to these functions. Sometimes in the early days when I started out, I started using an initialize function. Nowadays, I don't need this no more because I wrote the program in different ways. So this is kind of like an old way, but it's kind of give you a better understanding. As this function right here is to hit HTML5 player, right? Description, the menu for using to select the head of the HTML5 player. Okay, so I'm explaining what's happening here. And the next one below it said the same thing, but now it is a show and still the menu select the head, right? So it's kind of doing different things. So we created a function here which is hid the HTML5 video player, right? Okay. And we come back here and we have to document to get the element by ID, which is the player that we describe here, right? And we have a style display which is a none. So the style display was saying that I should hit this away from all eyes, right? They can't see it, okay? So we come to the show and we ask for the show to repeat the same thing. And then we still call the element by ID, the HTML5 video player, style display, which is a block. So a block now is like an object. So when you click on that, it's looking to load a block into the program, right? And these are very simple functions. This one hits it, this one shows it. Okay, basic principle. To show you like an action in a program, what is used to make that happen, sure. Like we can load the caption, right? And we can close the caption, right? So that is the purpose of those functions. So you can create buttons, right? And you can see this is the HTML5 player generator, but we call it HTML5 in the text. We had referred to it as the HTML5 player, right? And you could write multiples, like I did write multiple. Image capture. Remember I just showed you the image capturing, right? And caption. Remember I showed you the caption, right? And there is a source code to look at the source code, so you can look at the source code. And there's an iframe preview. Well, let's talk a little bit about this for you guys, get a little introduction to some other stuff. Okay, here in the actual program, I'm using an iframe. Okay, an end frame, iframe. So when we name the design. So a lot of times to work on the program where I showed you the first time, where grammatically I'm using lowercase here, because for real, you should write the first one here uppercase, which is the alphabet, the first alphabet being, right? And then the second one being lower, for the program to really understand it more. Even though I did it here, up here, like this, you will run into problems. So I had to change like the video to small here, you see? And so remember, always when you're gonna call the element by ID, remember to write that in lowercase. But when you write in a word, as far as saying, okay, HTML5 player, you know what I mean, stuff like that, the player, most likely, it's the way the program works. Like it's alright, image capture, but alright, image capture lowercase. So that's what you need to do when you're doing this formula, for it to work the right way for you. You won't run into problem, trust me. Because you may write it, right? And then when you write the simple thing, you find out it don't work. So if you don't follow my actual formula here, it won't work properly. But you can experiment and do a lot of stuff. After going through tons of different ways, this was the best one, right? So remember, lowercase here. See, I talk about program that like kind of, I just do it regular. It's just something that I know, so I just do it. I make it a part of me, just like getting up every day and cooking some food. So, yeah, right? So the up and the lowercase, yeah, so remember, okay, you got to capitalize the first letter, undo anything, right? So I write body property, and I wrote the body, capitalize B, recite lowercase, capitalize P, recite lowercase, and everything should be lowercase here. Okay, so cool. Now to show you guys a little bit about the connection right here. What happened when you do that? So let me see if I can run into my development drawer and try to like look at some of the example program and see if I can find something where I connect up everything, and give you guys a little quick example. So those are the stuff that's happening inside the program. It's a bunch of wax, what we call tracks and wax. Okay, cool. So now, let's focus on this little area right here. And this is what I wrote to display, okay, the text area. And let me find where it's at. Okay, so it spans to here, right? And here is where I have the actual text area and an input field for submission, right? Another input field again, right? and those things will correspond. And I call an ID. So the ID that I called here is a source code ID. And that source code ID is a connection to what I was showing you at first. You need to call it via ID. So I use a div to do this, right? So you set up your div here. Okay? You see it? So I write a bunch of stuff in my div, overflowing and all that kind of stuff. So when like the data get a certain amount and it's over, it'd be like the overflow X and hit that. You know, it's a lot of stuff that you will understand along the line. I will teach some things about those things, about style sheeting. So these are a bunch of style stuff happening right here. Right, we're using Bootstrap, right? So we got a panel default. That's a Bootstrap, right? Got a bunch of stuff happening here. Okay, and let's talk about on click. So on click, we hit the source code, right? You see it? Okay. Remember, let's go here. Source code, okay? And we hit the source code. So we are still using Java. An unclick Java statement equals to return false in order to bring up that little box here. So thank you guys for like watching this on VGA development from SMT.